Hi, I'm Jody again, Jody Beck from Jody's Gems Quilting, and I'm recording another video because I'm going to teach it, and then I want to remember how to do this for a long time. I tend to, the older I get, the more I'm forgetting, and I do so many of things that I don't have to do it for years, and then by then I've forgotten how to do it. So a friend of mine I actually live outside of Philadelphia, and I have a friend from Phoenix who sent me one of these and the directions on how to do it, the basic directions. And there is a YouTube video out on it. This is not my idea, but my girlfriend changed the way it was done. And I like what she did, my friend Virginia. So she changed the method or how, you put it together, parts of it, and then I've added to it and made it my own. So this is just for me. So I thought I would share with you. And for those of you that took my class, thank you. And the rest of the world, whoever's interested. And if you're not, oh well. Anyway, I love these. My girlfriend was like, she was really excited because it's a homemade sponge. I'm not a sponge person, but I am a scrubber person, a scrubby person. And so this is the best of both worlds. So it's the cotton yarn on one side, and then the new scrubby yarn on the other. And I discovered not too long ago, there's really two different kinds of scrubby yarn. So I will show you those so you know which one that you want to get. But I wanted to show you the colors. Aren't they fun? And I had a bunch of this yarn left over from other projects years ago. I make liners for my coasters. I can show you that. And so I had a bunch of yarn left because I'm always going to make more and get around to it. And 20 years later, I'm not getting around to it. I did now, though. I'm all done. But this is some of what we did. And I thought this would be a great gift to give all my friends. And just a little something for people at Christmas time next year or the year after. I try to make things ahead. But some of this yarn I bought at thrift stores, I know, or like Trash to Treasure. There'll be a whole bag of it. Somebody was done with it. So I grabbed it. Some of these I've had for a long time, and then I just had to buy the scrubby yarn. And she told me which one to get. I'll show you. But anyway, I just wanted to show you those. And I did try one recently. I mean, I have bags full because I give about 30 gifts a year out to friends, just neighbors, people that, I want to say thank you to, my hairdresser, my massage therapist, things like that. So these are great gifts, but I'm going to show you what I did with this one. It's two different yarns. I had yarn that was pretty thin, and I thought it was too thin compared to the others, and I had picked them up somewhere. So I combined the two yarns, which you can do. Is a little challenging, and not challenging, it was bulkier. It was thicker and harder to work with, but I did it, and I made a couple of them, so that turned out well. Just a moment, and we're going to move over to my table. Okay, so what I have found, what I had, or I thought I had, was Peaches and Cream, the yarn that I had used for years. And I had this one here. I had some with purple in it, different things. And when I ran out, I still had a bunch of this left. So I went and bought more yarn. I went to a really inexpensive place, and I bought the Peaches and Cream. And I did find that one of the Peaches and Cream, I think it was this one, was really hard to work with. It was like rough. It was like it wouldn't slide on the needle or on the crochet hook at all. And it drove me crazy. Now, I've used the same yarn, but when I went to the quilt store where I teach, she had a whole bin full, and it was sugar and cream. So I'm thinking maybe that's the difference. Like one is better than the other. So you might try different ones. Just be aware of that they have changed a little bit. Now, this was a Peaches and Cream. This one, I don't remember. One is called Stripey. One is Original. I have no idea. But one of them did crochet out better and easier than the other ones. So it's a hit or miss. Maybe it was a bad dye lot or something. And then the Scrubby Sparkle yarn, there are two different yarns. There's a Scrubby yarn and a Scrubby Sparkle yarn. And the Scrubby Sparkle is what you want with this. So it has like a little metallic in it, and it scrubs really, really well. It works great. So anyway, just keep that in mind. Now you will, this is how big the spools come, or the skeins of yarn. A little bit bigger than this. And here's one. I'm going to make some more coasters out of this. This is what kind of like what my coasters. I don't think I have any down here. I made a ton of them, used up my stuff. But for Christmas, I'm going to make some. So that is, I'll probably do that in another video because I can't remember how to do that either. So anyway, that's how big your skein is when you get it. And it is, did I show that earlier? 4 ply, 2 ounces, 95 yards. So I can get, I think I got 4 of the sponges out of one of these. But look at, I mean, I had a lot left over. So I have a whole bag full somewhere. And before I forget, my hairdresser also was using scrubby yarn, and hers is different. There's no metallic in it. And so she mixes the cotton yarn with the scrubby yarn together, and she makes scrubbies with that. Now, these I haven't used. They're too pretty to use. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to get them dirty. So I'm not sure how they scrub out. She said, make sure you try them. And I'm like, okay. But so keep that in mind. There are 2 different scrubby yarns. So what I'm going to do is show you how I make these because I'm showing myself down the road. And as you can see, all of my little leftovers, they come in all colors. I have the purple, there's the pink, I had the blue, and then I love this color here. So anyway, when you're done, these are either going to get donated somewhere for a craft project. I'll take them somewhere and when I'm done with it. But I went ahead and I bought more yarn to finish up some of these. So what you're going to do, oh yes, here's my website, just in case you're a quilter, jodysgemsquilting.com. I have over 35 patterns now. So anytime that you're looking for something new, and I do have some pretty cool tree ornaments and things like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with an H hook. And your crochet hooks, I have the new ones that have the ergonomic handle on it, but I tried one and it's okay, but I like this. I can just spin it around, but you'll see the H right here. Hope you can see that. Yes. Okay. I lost this for the last week and a half, and I could not find it because I had accidentally packaged it with another set. So I pair them up in colors. So I put my 2 colors together and I couldn't find it. So I had to grab another crochet hook, and this one's an I number 9. But I wanted to show you, just out of curiosity, the difference when you think, oh, a crochet hook, it doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter. But look at the size difference from an H to an I. So same stitches, same everything, but it is going to be a bigger sponge. So just saying, just letting you know, you can try either one. H or I, doesn't matter. I think that would be a good size sponge too. I don't think it's too big. And you can always go down to a G. If you have a G hook, try a G hook. It'll just be a little bit smaller. So anyway, I just did this morning after I made my scarf. If you watched my knitted scarves video, I finished a scarf and I sat there in a meeting and I did this during the meeting. And I can't believe I do these on the train, the plane. I've been traveling a lot and these are a great project. I just took this really cute bag that I picked up at a boutique at a quilt show. And I just put everything in there, my scissors. I have a little crochet hook that I was weaving ends in. And then I found this needle not too long ago. And I thought, well, I'm going to throw it in there and try it. Oh my gosh, this is so much easier and better. It's got a blunt tip on it and it's just for yarn. So just don't lose it. I did thread some yarn through it so that I couldn't, if I dropped it on the floor, I would see it, you know, and then I have to take the thread out every time because you can't thread it, the other threads through there with another one in there. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you the difference between an H and an I. I thought that was interesting to see how much difference there was. So this will go back in my pouch. And as I go wherever my husband's driving, I typically have my hands busy doing something. So this is the blue and the yellow yarn I was talking about, and it's cotton yarn. I picked it up somewhere. And it was leftovers from somebody's project, but you'll see it seems to be quite a bit thinner than what I'm getting. Oh, I know what else I was going to tell you. Do you see the difference? Can you see? One just seems to be thicker than the other. One's denser woven or something. So that's why I combined these 2 when I made that one sponge. So that's just a tip for you. I'm using this today for demo purposes. This is getting donated. I really like the sugars and cream. And what I found with the peaches and cream, which was this yarn, is sometimes it seemed to lose the spin on it. So it would separate easier. Like this was really hard to make sure I got all 4 of the threads, the 4 plies. This one with the sugar and cream, I think is just a better brand. That's just what I'm finding. So it could be a batch to batch thing. I don't know, but be aware, just keep that in mind. So what you're going to do to start crocheting is we always make a chain. And in my other video, which is on knitting, I talk about the fact that when everybody, I mean, I taught both of my girls how to knit or crochet and knit and crochet. One of them was a knitter and one's a knit crocheter. I prefer crocheting. I find even adults, most people prefer one or the other. We do both, but we prefer one over the other. So what you're going to do to start your chain is I found with this, you need a tail. So like a good 12 to 14 inch tail. And the reason you need that is we're going to show you that right here when I get to that step. So what I do is I make a circle, bring it up through the middle, and tighten it up. Not super tight, but I tighten it up a little bit. And then when we crochet, we wrap it around our little finger. Now, if you have sweaty hands, this isn't going to work. You're going to have to just do it by, manually. But this is the one time I cannot do this knitting. I've never been able to master that, but I can get it when I crochet. So your hands look like this. Can you see it? Should be okay. And then you hang on to it right here with your thumb and your middle finger. You wrap the crochet hook around and bring it through. That's a chain. It's called a chain. It's 1, 2, 3. And I just put lotion on my hands and they're sticking. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you want to chain 16 to make the sponge, okay? And you'll see that the stitches look pretty even. You might have some really big loopy ones, so just take that out. And when you take it out, you're just literally going to pull it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't want to count them all again, so I counted them going back out. But this is 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you've got your 16, and what you're going to do is when you turn, we're basically going to go backwards. So we're going across the road. That's a chain. You can make a chain 10,000 miles long, but it's not going to get you anywhere unless you figure out how to go back. So you do yarn. This is called a yarn over. We yarn over, and we're going to skip this stitch. We're going to go back to this one, the second one from where we were. So each row will have 1 extra stitch at the end we call turning, or it leads you up. So we're going to take this top piece and this back one here. There's 3 parts to that stitch. I hope you can see that. So there's 1, 2 here and 1 on that back side right there. And it's easy on this first row. This is your hardest row, I'm just saying right now. So if you have a hard time, just be patient. And I am not a master crocheter. I said that when I was quilting or when I was knitting. I am not a master knitter, but you can always Google it, find other videos if you want help with this. And so you're doing the top 2 parts of that. You're leaving 1 on the bottom. So we're going to go in, and what we're doing is yarn over. We're going to go into the stitch, the top 2, go yarn over again. You see it? Come back through, yarn over again, and come through all 3. So we're going to do yarn over, go in, grabbing the top 2. I'm telling you, this is the hardest part. And I'm going to run out very shortly because I cut my threads. It's the rest of a spool. So let me show you what we're doing. Here's my actual piece. Should have my 16 on here. Okay. I think it goes this way. I never know which way it goes. So we're going to yarn over and go through the top 2. Grab the top 2, yarn over, come through once, yarn over, come through all 3. Yarn over, go in, get the above, just the 2 on top, yarn over, come through, yarn over, come through 3. That's a half double crochet. And I had to look it up and see how to do it because I couldn't remember. I just make up stitches. A lot of us do. That's my girlfriend. She goes, I just made up my own stitch to make these. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what you're doing and you're in Arizona and I'm not. So there we go. So you'll see with this one, it's a little bit easier. I'm having a better time. This will spin on you. Like if you set it down, the whole thing will get spun and out of control and you'll go, ah, I don't know which way it goes. So just look at it and go, that's the way it's supposed to look. And you go in and above that 2, grab the yarn, bring it through, grab the yarn and come through 3. Half double crochet. You're going to do that all the way across the row to the other end. Okay. Yarn over. You might have to rewind this a few times. And then through all 3. Yarn over, go in with the 2 on top, 1 on the bottom. Yarn over, bring it through, yarn over, bring it through 3. Okay? You're going to do that all the way to the end of the row. When you get that done, it's time to turn. Okay? So I've got my tail there. I'm going to do this. There we go. So I'm to the end of my row, and I think I got one more stitch there. Okay, I'm going to count because this is where I get messed up often. It's like, how many stitches do I have? So here's 1. Whoop. Okay, so here's my end. I'm going to call, this is 1, I think. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I need 15. So that's telling me that I do have one more stitch down here to go dig for. And this one kind of got lost in there. So I'm going to have to wiggle it around. Get down in there. Somehow that tightened up on me. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go in there. There's my 2. I'm going to bring yarn over, come through, yarn over, come through 3. You will soon see, and then you're going to tighten it up again. You will soon see how much easier this is to do the following rows. They're so much easier. So you're going to do yarn over and chain 1. That's your end. That brings it up to the next row. And then you're going to yarn over and come through the top 2. Do you see them? So here's my yarn over. There's my stitch I was on. There's my yarn over and I came through 2. Now I'm going to bring yarn over, come through, yarn over, come through all 3. And I'm just hanging on lightly here. I'm holding it enough that I can open up that stitch. So yarn over, go down with the 2 on top. It's almost like a V, or it's a, I don't know, teardrop, something. Yarn over, come through 1, yarn over, come through 3. So you're going to go down. You're going to keep doing this all the way across, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you're going to go one direction. You'll get down there and you're going to come around to the other direction. Okay. And I'll let you rewind that video many times. See what it looks like? Okay. Once you get that done, I think this one, oh, this was another demo for you. Down to the end and turning it. So I'm not going to worry about that. We just did that. Okay. Once you get 16 rows done. Okay, so we did 16 stitches. Then you turn one, and so that's your bringing it up. Then you do 15 stitches across, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, all the way until you get all 16 rows done. How you can tell, and sometimes I have a hard time telling, I look for a sequence or a pattern. Like here's 2 rows. Here would be, so one side, oh there, it's easier to see on one side for me than the other. So here's 1 row, here's 2, 3, 4. Do you see it? Where the little ridges are? So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So when I get 16 rows done, then I'm ready to add my other yarn. Okay. And I still got my tail down here. You're going to see what that tail's for in a minute. But I am going to, so here's my piece. Okay, my 16 rows. Now I'm going to add in the sparkle yarn. Okay, and I wound it around a spool because I didn't want it to be a mess. So I'm just going to hold it like this. I'm going to hook it, bring it through. Now, I'm not professional enough to tell you if that's a stitch or not. So I'm going to, I think it is. So I'm going to yarn over, go through the top 2, turn it, yarn over, come through, yarn over, come through 3. And this takes a little patience because it's like fuzzy. There is a core there. Do you see it? So that's what you're grabbing for. Don't worry about all the fluffy stuff. Down here on the end, you just want to make sure that these two go together. And, oh, that's what I forgot to show you. Typically, see how easy it is to pull out? Crocheting is so much easier than knitting. I'm telling you, I lose my stitches. So what I do is I hold these back here and I crochet them right into the piece. So when I yarn over and I come through those top 2, see the hole? I come through the top 2. I make sure I grab both of these under here. I do not knot them. I don't know why, I never have. And I bring yarn over, come through. I'm coming around all of them and then yarn over and come through 3. So it's going to trail right along the top ridge of that. And the nice part is I don't have to bury my threads or my yarn in there. So I'm going to take that all the way across, yarn over, come through 3, yarn over, go through the 2 plus my 2 tails. Bring it over just like that. Okay, everybody tracking with me? And I whip this out so fast. Around, over, and through. That will probably take some getting used to, but once you get it, you'll have it for the rest of your life. It's like riding a bike. It's like, am I good at riding a bike? Yeah, I can still do it. I don't fall off. Okay, so you're going to add this scrubby yarn. Now, the other video that was out there that I watched that she recommended or how she found it, they go ahead and add the scrubby yarn with the regular cotton all the way up. And my girlfriend didn't like it. Virginia didn't like it. And I tried it and I didn't like it either. So I ripped it out and just went to just the sparkle yarn, the sparkle scrubby yarn. So when you get done with 8 rows, so you have 8, 8, and 8 of these, and how you see them is you'll see them. Here's row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a little easier as you go. So let me do this. And yes, believe it or not, I did the whole thing, finished it, and then I ripped it out so I could show you how to do this. So you come in. Now I'm just doing the 2 top threads. And so once you get this, it'll make sense. It'll take a while, but you'll get it. And then when you get to the end, don't miss that. There's always that one more stitch on the end, and it might be curving down. It looks like it doesn't belong there, but you're going to bring it up and use it. See what a nice corner that makes? I got one more row. I chain 1, bring it up, and then I start back. Is it a nice day at your house today? It's a little cloudy here today. We had a few sprinkles. And the sun peeked out for a little while. But I think I missed it. I was in a meeting. Okay, so once you get to the end of this, and I got to show you this because this is how you put the whole thing together. It's like a billfold, but it's a trifold. So just imagine a trifold man's wallet. So when we get to the end, okay. Now I pull this out because I don't want to lose it. And I look at it, and I'm like, okay, because I've made enough of these, I know that when I go to stitch this together, I'm going to start up here. I'm going to work my way around, across, and down, and down, and down. But I discovered, this is where it's different from what I saw out there in the other videos and my girlfriend. I took this tail, and normally you would just like weave it in here, but I found that when you come around, you're going to stitch this, when you get to this side, I wasn't catching all of it. So I catch this row, but you have to make sure you catch this because otherwise it's free. It's not going to work. So what I figured out was to go ahead with this and stitch it in here. So I just pick a place and just weave it in this way. Does that make sense? Are you able to see this? And what's amazing is I am coming through to that top side, and I'm watching down here as I go. I'm watching this end too because I want to make sure that I get it. It's not perfect. It's okay if it's not, like if you miss a stitch, it's like, oh, I need to keep it somewhat together. And I kept a long tail because I found for a while my tail I'd run out of tail, and I'm like, ooh, I only got halfway. So then on the other half, I had to make sure I caught it. But this keeps the sponge together, and it's on the inside, so nobody will ever see it. And what's on the outside, you don't have to worry because you're going to cover it back up with the scrubby yarn when you go around the outside edge. Okay, so I call that good. Okay, and I cut it off. So now what you're going to do, can be a little challenging, so there's no perfect way to do this, but you're going to crochet these together. Okay, so go back and get your loop, tighten it up a little bit, and in the corners, we're going to do a single crochet all the way around to combine these. And I'm just trying to get through here and the scrubby. Grab it and come through. There's not a yarn over first, so you grab it, go through first, yarn over, come through, yarn over, and come through the two. That's a single crochet. And in every corner, do 2 or 3 of these. Okay, then you're going to go to the next part, the next piece, and you're going to dig around till you find those top 2. And again, it's hard because sometimes you grab more yarn than you need. You grab the other pieces of yarn that you don't want. And I might even be going down below. I mean, I'm trying to get those 2, but I might get all 3. And I'm not stressing over it. The goal is to get this thing done and put together so it doesn't fall apart. Keeping in mind this end down here, you have to keep that lined up. Okay. I must go through that whole top part where there's a hole in there. This is the hardest part of this too, is just trying to get this edge together. The other edges seem to be pretty good because you're just going to estimate. Just take a stitch and, yeah, I'm not going to worry about getting those top two. Not today. Just means it'll hold together better. Now, it's hard for me to wrap this, so quite often I'm just holding it sometimes down here, and that seems to work. Boop. See how that edge is coming along and it looks finished? Now you can, if you're out of yarn, you do not have to single, see I got two threads there, see them? That means one of them does not belong. One of them is part of the other part, the back piece right here. So I'm getting it and bringing it through, and I don't want to bring it through. There we go. So sometimes you have to go back in and release it, wiggle it around. You don't want two pieces there. And it just means pulling that apart sometimes. So when I get to the corner, this is where I do like two or three pieces just to get it around. Oh my goodness, this is tough. This one is being a pain in the, oops, I got it. And then I lost it. So you're basically pulling those apart to make a hole. So I went in where I did before and I did two. That kind of rounds the corner. Does that make sense? You got to round the corner. Then when I come around the sides, I have to grab this one. I have to grab the inside one and the outside. And I don't care what I grab. Just a little bit. It's like, imagine sewing a 1/4 inch seam around it or something, and you're just going to grab. And it's not because I'm in a hurry. I literally do it this way all the time. But it's enough to hold it together. Okay, let me pause this and get around a little more. I don't want to run out of video. My last video, it cut off on me. So if I lose this, basically I'm going to stitch all the way around here and here, then I'm going to weave the end in. So let me pause this and finish it. Okay, so again, I didn't want to lose didn't want it to stop on me. But before we did a yarn over, you're not doing that on these. But I wanted to show you that it's so much easier. I had a really hard time at this corner. I could not get through that corner, so just skip it. Go to the next stitch, put a couple extra stitches in there. And for some reason, it was like, it's not going through. And this is literally where I quilted, or I put the two yarns together. And when I knitted or crocheted over the two yarns, the two extra yarns, that's where I'm at. I'm just going right over that. And going down in here, just between each one, right down between them. And when I get to the end, oh, see, now that one went right through. Go figure. That other one was just like a big nest. Okay. And then we're going to go around to here. Okay. Come through and just kind of estimate, get that, all 3 layers, 1, 2, 3 layers, all the way to the end. When you get it done, you just pull the yarn through. So if I was done, because I got to take this all back out to keep it for my demo, but when I get done, I would cut this off, pull the thread through at the very end, and do a couple of stitches there, and then weave it through with a needle, which basically is just like we did. All you're going to do is just weave it through like this. Somewhere, pick a place, run it through. And I guess because it's the pink, I would do it over here. So I would just run it through in between stitches, bring the thread through, do some more, weaving it through, and then cut it off or pull it through. So anyway, I hope that this helps you and me down the road as I go to make more of these someday. and it will be so much easier because this will remind me. So it's 16 chains, chain 16, turn, then you half double crochet in 15 stitches across, back and forth. So 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Keep counting them all the way so it doesn't get narrower or wider. And when you have 16 rows, so it's 8, 8, and 8, 16 rows, then you add your pink and you go it across with 15 stitches. You do 8 rows of that, and then you bring it out to the corner, pull your yarn so you have a big loop and don't lose it. And then you fold this into 3 pieces, and you you whip stitch this through so that it holds this together. And then you go back in your pink and you single crochet all the way around the whole thing, cut your threads and weave them in. So anyway, I hope this helps you. And like I said, if you're a quilter, you're looking for other crafts and things, tree ornaments, things like that, just go to jodysgemsquilting.com. Thanks, and please like my videos and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.